good afternoon. Welcome to my channel, everybody. My name is Chrissy, and today I'll be giving you a prediction reading for the 22nd of July. Now, I have currently got Penny here, a little dog I'm looking after. I'll give you a quick squiz at her. She just fell asleep on the couch here next to me. She's so cute. Look at her. And she's exhausted. We just went for a big walk before. So I thought while she's tired, I'll get on and we'll just see what messages come up. If you are new, I talk a lot about the Great Awakening process as well as the current global energies. So stay watching. There might be a message for you today, and we'll just get started and see what comes up. Gosh, I'm getting this visual of, and this comes back to the housing market. I talked in my August prediction reading about the housing market being greatly affected. There's going to be the price drops, the interest rate rises. It's a lot in August is going to happen around the housing kind of area, and that's to do with rentals as well. But I'm getting this visual, and they're showing me a gingerbread-like cottage or house, and it's that sort of Hansel and Gretel kind of image, which is a fairy tale. I'm sure most of you have heard of Hansel and Gretel, but it's showing me this house, and it's got like freckles on it, and it's got chocolate drops, and it's got beautiful candy canes and lollipops, and it's all made of gingerbread, and it's just very enticing. Now, this is the image that I'm getting for people moving forward when it comes to housing. They're going to be enticed to make commitments that they're not going to be able to balance out in the future. Now, government, we know government is going to do this, and they're going to make these housing schemes, or I often talk about the reset packages, which could be around the housing as well. They're going to make this really enticing. They're going to make it like the cottage covered in lollies that people are going to want to be signed up to or involved with. If you think about that visual, that's very enticing for anybody. If you've got these packages, housing, home loan packages, things like this, rental packages that are too good to be true, but people are going to fall for the exterior. See, it is like Hansel and Gretel. When you go inside, it becomes a trap. And somebody here talked about that on my channel, that this is all a trap. And you're right. These things are going to become traps. It's like Hansel and Gretel going into the cottage, but then there's this, is it the Wicked Witch or the grandmotherly sort of old lady figure? There's something in there but it ends up being this evil character. Well, this is what I'm getting around this housing market. There's going to be these really amazing things to entice people, because what you got to remember, and I keep saying it about government, they want people to hit rock bottom. They want people to hit rock bottom so they can come and rescue everybody and get them out of the dire straits that they're going to find themselves in, which is probably going to be, I would say, 3/4 of the population. Because look at the huge mortgages and the loans that people have taken out. And that's why I keep saying here, just be very careful that you don't overspend, you don't take loans that you can't afford to pay back, even car loans, things like this. Because this is what's going to start happening. They're going to come out with these enticing plans like the lolly cottage in Hansel and Gretel. That's going to be very appealing to people. But when they get inside, it's all going to be a big trap. And that's what I'm getting. And that's what's coming in August. We know it is, because I've already talked about, you know, these rental traps and sign here on the dotted line. But then you've got this like lifetime commitment. Like I said, if you go into these home loans with government where they're going to own 1/4 of your home, you're pretty much never going to have a leg to stand on. You're going to be paying that loan off, paying that debt off, paying all the utilities on that house and all the repairs and things. And meanwhile, government can still pull that rug out and take that house from under you, and your children and things will get nothing. So you've got to be very, very careful of all the fine print and the things that are coming out. So that's probably a warning. Maybe not so much for you guys watching my channel, because we're very aware of the Great Reset and what's actually coming towards people. So it's pretty unlikely that we're going to sign up for any of these great government schemes. I'll see what else we get today. I'm getting, and this is the government leaders, it's that hand in the cookie jar. Now, we know all these people who are rolling out these agendas are getting huge money. We know that they're getting fed from the people behind them. We talk about the puppeteers and the puppet masters and all this. They're getting money poured to these leaders. And this is globally, this is everybody. Prime ministers, premiers. Look, we know they're all getting kickbacks, probably from Big Pharma too, I would say. Of course, we know that the jab's been a huge part of all this. But they've also got the hand in the cookie jar. So don't be surprised if some of these global leaders and these people involved in the reset have also got their hand in the cookie jar, meaning that they have shares in Big Pharma, they might have shares in Pfizer, they might have shares in Moderna. We know, and I can tell you here, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Daniel Andrews, who has the most lockdown city of Melbourne, that was, yes, locked down for 2 years here in Australia, he is building, yes, a Moderna factory in Victoria, the state of Victoria. So this is the example. They have their hand in the cookie jar as well. It's not enough that they're getting like kickbacks and getting paid huge money just to do their job. They've also got their hand in the cookie jar. And we know this goes on. We know this happens. These people are so greedy, there's like never enough. We know Bill Gates has got his hand in the cookie jar. He's buying up all the farms that grow all the vegan products. This is all interconnected. So I'm definitely getting the hand in the cookie jar. And there's an abundance of cookies in this cookie jar. They're saying, the guides are saying there's plenty to go around for these government leaders. There's no shortage of cookies going to them. So I'm definitely getting that. So we know, and we always talk about here, there's a lot of corruption and there's this kind of underlying, like we talk about that mafia, like the global mafia, not literally the mafia, not like the Italian mafia, but this is the global mafia, which I sometimes refer to here as the untouchables, because it seems like they're always hidden. We know BlackRock, Vanguard, I'm sure there's many more. Oh, what is it? The Rothschilds come up here a lot on my channel. A lot of this is hidden from view, not from us, but there's even more behind the scenes there that we're not even aware of. But gosh, we know mainstream media will never touch any of this. So I'm definitely getting that. Everyone's got their hands in the cookie jar, but there's heaps of cookies. I think the UK will probably have their hand in the cookie jar soon. England, just saying. I'll see what else we get today. I'm getting the message that we're very defiant. If you're on my channel watching this, I always talk about us being the mavericks and the naughty children that don't comply, but we're very defiant. Now, when we dig our heels in, we dig our heels in, and our thought processes can't be changed. It's not even that we're stubborn, we're just defiant. We will not just do something because somebody is telling us to do it. We're defiant in the sense that we go and do the research. We investigate things. We go and find out the information. How's this going to benefit our lives? Are we going to get anything from this? Now, this is why I talk about the pyramid scheme and the Ponzi scheme, because we're defiant. We left that story, the COVID agenda story, ages ago. We were written out of the book. But we saw that this pyramid was a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme where only the elite people were going to be making the money out of this and gaining wealth, and there was nothing in this for the little people. Because we were defiant and we stood up early, and a lot of you have come along the way, and that's great. We encourage everybody here on my channel, when they are waking up, to start to see these truths of what's really going on. So we are like these defiant ones, but defiant in a good way, because it's actually it's been crucial for our health, our mental well-being. It's helped to keep us on the straight and narrow path. It's made us stronger. And our life is now not as turbulent. It's showing me, like, people over here, their life is very turbulent. They're up and down. I talk about the roller coaster a lot. These people waking up, and the people who are stuck in that narrative, their life is very turbulent. but it's not for us anymore because we've reached that calmer place. I talk about it a lot. When you ride through the storm, you come to the calmer waters, and that's where we are at the moment. And I'm definitely getting that. The defiance has paid off because now we've reached calmer waters. I'll just see where else we go today. Oh, we talked about this the other day. These government leaders are trying to, they're trying to put society into districts. Now, for anyone out there, and I know a lot of you have watched the Hunger Games, our lives are currently, seem to be reflecting a lot of the Hunger Games show on, I think it's Netflix. Yes, I think it's Netflix. So if you haven't watched it, maybe go and watch that because you'll really relate to the life that we're currently living. But they split society into districts, and this is what these global leaders are starting to do. They're wanting to split everybody into districts. Now, this is subtle. They're not going to name District 1 and District 20 or number 3. They're not going to do that. But they're doing this. I always talk about government doing everything by stealth, and this is how they're starting to do it again. They're starting to implement this district because what they want, and they tried it in the beginning with the unjabbed people, and I think everybody watching my channel here knows that anyone who did not get jabbed was completely vilified from society. We were pushed aside. We were told we were the weak links and that we were the ones letting the team down. All of us, most of us here got attacked. And then, so that became kind of one district. Then what happens is you have all these other districts sort of emerging as the process went along. So then we had the people who maybe were vaccine injured, and then they became too scared to speak up. And I know I've got some of you on my channel. They became too frightened to speak up against the jab because they knew they would get vilified. And then they got bullied as well from doctors and nurses. And we know on my channel that doctors and nurses have been silenced by a lot of these approving bodies. I think it's FDA, and we've got APRA here in Australia, who got a lot of doctors and things to sign documents, and they were silenced, so they couldn't speak out against vaccines anyway. So there's this whole little districts emerging all the time. And then, you know, I guess you could almost say the MPOX, I won't say the full name because we do get fact checked a lot, started to focus again on the gay community. So again, we've got this another district forming because they were trying, well, they tried, it didn't work. Fantastically, that has not worked. They tried to focus that became a virus of that gay community again, which takes us back to the old memory of AIDS, which was, I think, was it in the 70s and 80s? It was in the 80s, I think, wasn't it? Everything seems to be in the 80s on my channel. But that whole AIDS thing, the gay people got really vilified and ostracized for that. And you could see that government was trying to do this again with this MPOX event, because that makes no sense, because lots of straight people have sex too. So they were saying this was about the gay community and it was about bodily fluids again. But it didn't add up. See, people have not fallen for that. They tried to create that they wanted to ostracize these people and vilify another portion of the community. Now, these are just examples of the way they're splitting everything into districts. And now, and we're still going along. We were the first, most of us unjabbed people. Then there was this, then there was that. Then, of course, there's the people who wouldn't have the jab and they became mandated at work. So people lost their jobs after 30 years of being a teacher, a fireman, a doctor, whatever. If you did not get that jab, then you became vilified and then you were pushed out of society. So you kind of got put into district number 5. And then, of course, we're still going on because now there's the people who have only had 2 jabs who did it so they could travel and get their freedom back and go to the pub. And now they're being vilified because they haven't had the boosters. So now they're in district number 6. So all the time, and then there's the people who have only had 1 booster and now they're getting put into district 7. So this is going on and on and on. So our lives, as you know on my channel, are turning into the Hunger Games because they're playing people off against each other all the time. And we know now that with this Great Reset agenda, and if you are new to my channel, you may not know about the Great Reset that is run by Klaus Schwab, the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum. He wrote a book where he is going to change the world and change everything and do a great reset. And as we know, this includes food, it includes what we're driving, the amount of carbon emissions, having a credit scoring system to take our lives forward. This is horrific. And already they have been putting us into little districts without us knowing it, because they do everything by stealth, and separating and dividing and all the time trying to get people to argue and fight against each other. And they've done it beautifully, I have to say. It's going to be interesting to see what the next few things are. It's probably going to be if you don't have an electric car, you're going to become and be put in district number 11 because you don't own an electric car and your carbon emissions are not great. So you're going to have a lower credit score. So this is how it works. I know if you're watching my channel, we can see this all unfolding. So this is what government's doing. They're working on the little districts. They're not going to tell you it's districts because how can they do that? But it's subconscious districts where people are going to start turning on each other. It's like here in Australia, I keep telling you, because they want to bring up the climate change agenda, we know that's part of what they're rolling out at the moment. This is the big thing at the moment. They had all these small, mind you, protesters, probably 10, 15 protesters, blocking roads in Sydney and causing chaos. And so that gave them the opportunity to pass these bills to stop this protesting. So they're very clever and very smart in what they're doing and getting people offside. And it's just a fiasco, isn't it? And watching it all unfold, we have to say I think we could pick up the Reset Agenda book of Klaus Schwab and we could turn to any chapter, and I reckon we could nearly just have it word for word to what we're actually currently going through, just like the movie, movies, The Hunger Games, and Mockingjay and that series. I think there's a series of 4 in that. So maybe go look that up and watch it because it's incredible. I'll see what else we get today. Right, this message is for you guys watching my videos. Don't give in, don't give up. Don't be scared. I don't think we get scared anymore anyway. We kind of have a laugh at things, don't we? But they're sort of saying don't be scared of where your future is headed because we vibrationally keep ourselves out of that narrative. And the biggest thing is don't worry what other people think of us. That is the biggest thing that the guides are saying to me today is don't worry what other people think of you. We've got a purpose. We've got a purpose in being here. Now, I always talk about it as shining that light and being that lighthouse in the storm. And that is really our job. I also talk about throwing people a life buoy and just holding that rope to keep them afloat until they figure all this out and they might get rescued one day. Because it's very important. I always talk about it, keeping ourselves stable, strong. So I'm definitely getting that today. I'll just see if there's any closing messages here. And this is what they're saying about the Hunger Games too. They're relating to that. These things that they're rolling out and that they're trying to implement can be beaten. Like you can push through and win through these things as well. And like I always talk here about, this isn't about winning and losing really. This is about winning our own race. So this waking up process is about us as an individual going through this change of the soul breakdown and coming out the other side a more whole, complete, fulfilled and calmer person. So I'm definitely getting that these things can be beaten. It doesn't mean just because they're rolling things out at us that they will win, like government will always win. That is not the case. The guides are saying that is not the case because they're influenced by so many other things as well, by people standing up, by people seeing the truth, by people getting on with their lives, just like you here watching my channel. We're getting on with our lives. We don't even listen to government. Gosh, I know here half of you guys don't even watch TV, and that's brilliant. You know, I only watch it because I find it funny. I actually have a laugh. Look at me with the, what was that variant today? The centaurs, or I can't even, I've got the worst memory. But, you know, the ridiculous mpox and all this stuff. It's just, I just laugh. When I hear about nurses protesting here in Australia, and I know you guys do too, I just go, well, what did they expect was going to happen? They vilified and mandated that nurses and doctors and things had to be jabbed. Of course they were going to lose enormous amounts of staff because people didn't want to get a trial vaccine that, as we know here, has huge amount of side effects and strangely seems to be giving everybody the virus and making people very sick with shingles, myocarditis, blood clots and CV, just to name a few. So, you know, how many things have to happen before people start to realise? And these people did that to themselves by pushing other people away and vilifying District 1, we could say, in the Hunger Games, of the people that were unjabbed. Now they're dealing with their issues. This has been complete madness. And that's the only reason I watch the news occasionally. I don't watch it every day. I'm a lot like you guys out there, because it's just so crazy to listen to that narrative. And of course, as we know, no protests. Well, they only put the protests they want on the news, don't they? We're not seeing anything much here about the Netherlands farmers standing up, are we? Or things like that. No, none of that on the news, because they don't want the truth coming out, do they, in their reset agenda? I'll just see if there's anything to close with. Yeah, the message from the guides is just don't give up now. Keep living our best lives. That's the best thing that we can do. They're saying like it's the best medicine. I'm getting that spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So this is what I'm getting. We're into the natural sugars over here. We don't need the gingerbread house with all its sugary lollies and everything on it. They're showing us like breaking off a piece of sugar cane, and we're eating like a piece of sugar cane straight off the farm. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today, that image of us. Oh my gosh, we get some strange things on this channel, I tell you guys. So don't forget to hit the like buttons. Please comment down below. You know I love hearing from you. Sorry about my big rant about the reset and the Hunger Games, but I have to say there are a lot of commonalities sort of there, isn't there? And we know that reset is coming at people like a freight train, and they just don't see it. I know you guys see it on my channel, but other people just don't see the great reset that's coming at them. They will soon, because it's coming and it's right on their doorstep, knocking at their door. So take care, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll pop on and talk to you tomorrow, and I'll say goodbye from me. And look who woke up just in time to say goodbye. Bye. Bye, Penny. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful night. Bye. Bye from Australia.